Bigger, Chapter 13, Part 2, page 120, the very top of the page. He reached for the pistol and a small holster tied to his boot. "No!" Tyler hollered. "Wait, I got more money. Here, I'll give it all to you." He dug frantically in his pocket for the coins he knew were still there. "Look at here, mister. You can have everything." The man raised his pistol. Bigger vaulted into the air a second time, moving like a live bullet himself, his devil voice loud enough to make the bystanders in the street cover their ears. Tyler saw a gleam of revenge in Bigger's blue and brown gaze. The dog's white bib was like a silver shield in the noontime glare. When the shot rang out, Bigger's devil shriek went silent in midair. A new sound came out of his barrel chest, soft and gurgling, like spring water welling out of the ground. He fell into the dust like a piece of clothing, an old coat that someone had dropped off a passing wagon. He raised his head and tried to get to his feet again. The man, snorting hard, steadied his pistol for a second shot. Tyler launched himself against the pointing arm and knocked the weapon aside. "Why, you sassy, no-good little brat," the man yelled, and raised his fist like a club. "I'll teach you." You ain't going to teach him anything, mister," barked a tall man who came lopping across the street. He didn't wear a badge, but folks cleared a path for him. "And I'll take this gun while I'm at it," he snapped, scooping the pistol out of the dust. "It's a misdemeanor to discharge firearms within the city limits of McMinnville. Didn't you read the sign posted down the road a ways?" Someone gathered up the money and handed it to Tyler. He stuffed it in his pocket without looking at it, then knelt at Bigger's side. In the center of the dog's white bib, there was a small, dainty red flower that slowly began to bloom. Bigger's eyes were open. "Bigger," Tyler called urgently. "Hang on, Bigger. We're almost there. Hang on, boy. I'll get you something to carry you on. We'll both be home soon. Maggie's pups will." As he watched, Bigger's warm brown eye lost its fiery glow. The blue eye became cooler and more mysterious than ever. Tyler bent his face close to the dog's ear. There was something he had to say. "Goodbye, Bigger," he whispered, sure the dog could still hear. Bigger's fur was warm against his cheek. There'd been no time to say goodbye to Papa, so this farewell was even more important. "Goodbye, Bigger," he called again. "Goodbye. Goodbye." This time, Tyler didn't press his hands against his chest to dull the pain he felt inside. This time, he let his heart break. A man from the tannery across the street fixed a sling between two poles. He helped Tyler lay Bigger on it, even secured the dog's slowly stiffening body to it so he wouldn't slide off as the Travis was dragged along. "My advice, son, is to bury him here and now. Weather's still fearsome hot. He'll bloat up on you like a dead hog. The smell will make you hold your nose all the way to where you're going. I got a place out back if you want to dig a—" "I don't," Tyler answered curtly. He knew exactly where he wanted to bury Bigger, and it definitely was not in back of somebody's 10-yard in McMinnville. "This is where he got killed," Tyler muttered, "but he sure don't have to spend all eternity here." "Suit yourself, sonny," the tanner murmured, stepping aside. "But I guarantee you he'll turn out to be a mighty fragrant companion." Tyler knew what the man had said about the heat was true, so he traveled toward home under the stars and a moon that was as narrow as one of Lucas's eyebrows. The next day he slept in the deepest shade he could find, first covering Bigger's body with leaves and branches soaked in creek water to keep it cool. It was evening when he came to the 3 apple trees on the ridge overlooking the bridge across Sweet Creek. Their white blooms were gone now. In their place were apples the size of Rosalie's fist. Every spring, those trees would once again look like 3 sisters in pale dresses on their way to church. Could there be a better place for Bigger to rest? The earth beneath the trees was soft and loamy. Tyler dug first with his knife, then with his bare hands. He worked until he scooped a place deep enough for Bigger to lie, then be covered over with enough dirt so that foxes or badgers wouldn't dig him up again and feast on his bones. Tyler stroked Bigger's wide head and pressed his eyes close. First the blue one, now cloudy in death, then the brown one, its fire long gone. Bigger's coat still felt soft, was still as thick as a bear cub's. Tyler wrapped the canvas sling around the dog and lowered him into the grave. Before he covered him over with dirt, he talked to Bigger one last time. "Bigger, if there'd be any way I could have saved you." Tyler reviewed again in his mind the scene in McMinnville. The man with raisin eyes, the pistol, the dainty red flower pinned to Bigger's white bib. "But there was nothing I could do, Bigger," he apologized. "Mostly, though, I regret what that man did to you before I ever knew you." As Tyler talked, the bruise in his heart was eased. "Making you mean, tormenting you like he did so's Uncle Matt would claim a devil lived inside you. I never would have done that to you, Bigger. You know that, don't you?" There was no reply, but Tyler imagined the look in Bigger's eyes if an answer had been possible. "No, you never would have," his cool blue eye would have agreed. "No way under the sun or the moon," the warm brown eye would have declared. Tyler scooped handfuls of dirt over the canvas. He smoothed the earth on top and pressed it down. In the spring, new grass as fine as a baby's hair would cover this mound. Petals from the apple trees would fall here like snow. Every time he passed this way, he'd be able to look up and know Bigger had come home too. Tyler walked down the slope. He looked back once. The 3 trees were silhouetted against the evening sky. At their feet, he could barely make out the fresh, dark oval in the earth. He turned and crossed the bridge over Sweet Creek, his footsteps echoing softly on the night air. A half-mile later, he could see Mama had lit the lamp in the kitchen. He waited a while before going through the gate. Lucas must have fixed the latch because it wasn't loose anymore. Inside the house, Maggie gave a warning bark, hearing what she took to be a stranger in the road. Mama opened the door, and Maggie rushed out. She came forward with a second warning bark, but by the time she reached the gate, she was wiggling with glee. He was home. The word was round, smooth, complete. The end of chapter 13.